Welcome to the Feminine Founder. I'm Caroline Pennington, your host. After over 15 years of working in the staffing and recruiting industry on the agency side, I created this podcast to unpack some of the tips and tricks that I've learned of best practices of what works and what doesn't. So today we are going to talk about how interviewing goes both ways. We are in a candidate-driven market. I do not see that changing unless we go into a full-on recession. So that's one thing that I highly encourage employers to keep in mind as we go through the hiring and recruiting process with open requisitions, open positions on their team, or if even you're trying to build your team from the ground up. That's one thing you definitely need to keep in mind. It is still a candidate-driven market. So with interviews going both ways, we need to think about the employee experience from the very beginning. So if you're with a large organization, you probably have an ATS, what's called an applicant tracking system. If you're a small to mid-sized employer, maybe you have something in place like that, maybe not. Maybe people just send in resumes to your company, and that's okay too. Either way, we want to make sure the employee has a good experience from the very beginning to the very end. That is so crucial with attracting top talent and keeping candidates engaged throughout the process, because going through the hiring and recruiting process and having candidates fall off, ghost, whatnot, is just a complete waste of everyone's time. So once that resume comes in, whether it's again through an applicant tracking system or directly to you, they need to have a touch point within a 1 week period. So what that means is, let's say maybe they go into the no pile, maybe they're a maybe, or maybe they're a heck yes. That candidate needs to hear back from you or someone in your organization within a 1 week period. It can even be an email or a note from the ATS that says, thank you for applying, but we're not interested. That's okay. A candidate would rather hear back a no than not hear anything at all. We also want to make sure that next steps or a touch point happens in that 1 week period, because one thing I see happen all the time is candidates will apply to a company and the resume will sit there for weeks on end. Well, guess what? That person has already got another job. So by the time you reach out or say, okay, hey, we're ready to start interviewing, that person is long gone. So make sure you engage with them within a 1 week period. Another thing I like to recommend to my clients is we have to get rid of the mentality of, okay, our company has the job, the candidate wants it, so we have all the power. That's faulty thinking these days. Candidates are actively interviewing. If they're interviewing with your company, they're interviewing with other companies. So always keep that in mind. Also, the A players, the top candidates, the people you want to work on your team, the people you want to attract to your organization, they're constantly getting recruited. They constantly have messages in their inbox on LinkedIn, any source of communication. They're getting recruited by your competitors, they're getting recruited by recruiters, and they're getting recruited by direct industry leaders. So always keep that in mind too. Also, candidates have the option now. A lot of people have side hustles or they do freelance work. Maybe they have an OnlyFans account or a big TikTok following or Instagram, and they have a streamline of income coming in from influencing. What that means to you and your company, it means that candidates can be more selective. They don't just have to take the first job that comes in or the first offer that they receive. They have choices now. So that's another reason why them having a good experience with you matters so much. So candidates are also evaluating you just as much as you're evaluating them. I like to compare this process, the hiring and recruiting process, to dating, because it's so similar. Just think about when you go on your first date. You put your best foot forward, you're on time, you don't pick up your cell phone, you've got the outfit going, the hair going. Everything is, you're putting your best foot forward. As a hiring manager or CEO of your company, you have to do the exact same thing for this prospective candidate. So what that means is, don't leave them hanging out in the lobby for 15, 20 minutes after their designated start time. I know everyone's busy and things happen sometimes, but that also contributes to their experience with working for you and your organization. Don't be texting, don't be talking on the phone, taking calls during the interview. Make sure to be 100% present. That matters too. And make sure to be prepared. Have questions written out. Make sure you've done your due diligence on this candidate. I know we can't do that on everybody, but at least have, glance over their resume or know, somewhat about their experience and why you've chosen to take the time to sit down with them as well. And so employees and candidates, they're evaluating your process as well. So is it smooth? Is it streamlined? Is it clunky? Does it take, 2, 3, 4 weeks or months before actually getting to the finish line? Or is it a quick, seamless process? All of that matters in hiring and attracting the best types of candidates to your organization. Also, follow-up is so important. Again, if it's a no, that's okay. People can handle it, but make sure you reach out and let them know yes or no, hey, we're going to move forward, or move with another candidate, or yes, we would like to move forward with you for either second round interviews or an offer. You can expect it at this time. It's better to over communicate with candidates than under communicate. And I've seen this happen over and over and over again, is employers won't communicate exactly where they're at or what they're thinking. And so the candidate is left out, in the wilderness, wondering, okay, am I still being considered? Are they interviewing the candidates? Where are we at in the process? I know that's hard when you have a large volume of candidates coming in for certain positions, but if you can, a touch point is super helpful. Also, candidates are looking for vibe and chemistry. Same thing with dating. They want to make sure that they want to work for you. They want to make sure that, your place, your organization, your company is a place that their skills can offer a contribution and that they can thrive and grow within your organization. And so making sure that there's vibe and chemistry there if you like the candidate. If you don't like the candidate, that's fine too. They will feel it, you will feel it. It will be a no-go for both parties, and that's okay too. So as a reminder, this is a candidate-driven market. When we are hiring and recruiting, you have to keep in mind that candidates are interviewing you as well. And so it's so crucial with putting your best foot forward, and that starts with the employee experience and them hearing back from the very beginning within a timely manner. So if you enjoyed today's podcast, thanks for listening. I appreciate you. You can head over to femininefounder.com and register your email to sign up for future updates of topics that I'll go through, and then I have guests lined up as well. Thanks.